What up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Yo, I found another good video for y'all. Um, just like I found the video. I don't know if I'm the same dude who brought y'all the video that was done by Single by Choices and Cart Before the Horse. You know, them boys that over there that's doing good work. They have found the video. I have found the video that they did before, but the highlight of the video wasn't really what they were speaking about. It's something that I caught in the clip that I was surprised that they didn't make a highlight of. So it was pretty much this lady. Pretty much they asked her, so why don't you women, stop having sex before you have a man's kids or before you get married? And she pretty much let it slip and revealed that most women don't have enough to bring to the table other than sex to keep that man, interested long enough to, want to talk to them long term, want to be able to marry them, something like that. So here's another clip. I found the clip with the Shushu Zed. Now, you see my title. We're going to, towards the end of the video, she's going to reveal what she says. And now the reason why this is very important is because I can't even pronounce his name, but Shushu Zed, he didn't highlight that as a major portion of the video. I want to highlight what she said because it was the most profound thing that she said during this whole video to me. Other than her being a single mom and both of her sons going to prison and she feeling guilty, partially guilty for that. She said something else very profound in this, that every dude who's thinking about becoming a stepdaddy should take note and just shy away from it, because make no mistake, what she's going to say that I'm going to play, best believe that every single mom thinks this about another man who's coming into their life and taking on their kids. Let's roll this beautiful footage, shall we? Let's go.
If you have watched any of my videos, then you know that I have two sons currently in prison right now. One is in prison for armed robbery and one is in prison for murder. And that's a really difficult pill to swallow. My son Tremaine was 19 years old when he decided with some friends of his to go to a college campus with a gun because they didn't have money and they wanted to rob some people. And my son and his friends picked a group of white kids to rob at gunpoint on this college campus. One of the white boys in the group that was being robbed was defiant. So my son beat him with a pistol. And I didn't know all of this at the time. I'm telling you a story that I know now. At the time, I didn't know this. And I was a waitress and I went home one night, and on my way home from work, my ex-husband called me and he said, "Do not watch the news when you get home. Call me," or at least that's what the message said. "Do not watch the news when you get off. Call me." And I was scared to death. And when I called him, I said, "Is my son dead?" Because that's what I thought. I thought that, maybe the news had covered it, that one of them was dead and he didn't want me to see it on the news. But that wasn't it. It was that they had pictures of, or video camera footage after the robbery of my son and his friends in some vehicles going different places with the stolen credit cards that they had, and that they're using them, to make purchases. So the first night, the news doesn't know who my son is. They don't know who did the offense. They just know it was done, but they didn't know who it was. So they were showing pictures on the news of my son and his friends. And my ex-husband had seen my son and recognized him. And that's why he had told me not to watch the news and to call him first, because he didn't want me to have to find out that way, which was very kind of him. And so anyway, I find out that information from my ex-husband. I go home, I watch the news, I see that footage, and it's pretty devastating. And then the next morning when I wake up, 6 o'clock, I'm watching the news, but by now the police have already figured out my son's name, and his name is running across the bottom of the screen on the ticker tape. On the screen of the news, his name is going back and forth, and they're showing footage of it.
At this point, I'm understanding that there is a father involved. Ashley's telling the story, right, in real time. And I'm wondering what happened. What happened? Why wasn't he able to influence them in the way that they needed to go? And also, I'm wondering, what role did she play in the way that things turned out for her son?
Of the crime from the night before, and
Let me answer that real quick before we get to the profound, the thing that she reveals that's very profound. The reason why, if the biological, she probably wasn't with the biological father, you know what I'm saying, when when her sons committed these crimes or whatever. The reason why he didn't have any major impact on his son's life and could make an actual difference in his life, it could be only because of the father wasn't shit either. I mean, there's no way in hell who a man who's made himself up to some valuable, respectable man in the society and his community, to where he has a respectable career and is showing, improving, producing, providing for a family, or if he does, even if he doesn't have a family, but he's in this case he has to have a family, but he's providing for his family. He's living by great morals and values, have a great, outstanding character of a man. There's it's just like committing those type of crimes. I mean, yeah, we can't control our kids once they get off, to their daily lives, but it's just rare when a man like that who's married, it's just rare that children who grew up to be, grown adults themselves, who come from a background, a household as that, is committing those type of crimes. Yes, I've seen some commit crimes that come from those households, because I'm one who came from a double parent household in which today my parents are still married, and I've committed some crimes in my past, but never no crimes on that type of scale. That's going to really fuck my life up, forever. Nothing like that. But he had not been shit, because he wasn't no type of man for those kids, even growing into adults, to look up to and even to respect, to take his opinions or his words of advice as great value, to something to actually take heed and to possibly, listen to. That could only be the reason. But let's go. That's not even why I want to play this video. Let's get at it.
Knowing his name, because they now have his name, and he was not living with me when he committed this offense. Me and my daughter were in the house, because I was divorced by this time, so it was just me and my daughter. And one Sunday morning, about, 2 or 3 days after this, it was Sunday morning, and I remember being...
Well done, Viv. You got the presents, the balloons, and the Raptor cake.
Being asleep in my bedroom. My daughter was about 8. She came and knocked on the door. She said, "Mama, the police are at the door." And I went to the door. The cops are there. Guns are out. They're not pointed at me. They're at their sides, but they have guns, and they're asking me, "Is my son in the house?" And I said no, but they wanted to search the house, obviously. And, I said, "That's fine. Can I get my daughter?" And they let me get my daughter. And I didn't know my house was surrounded. They had cops at the back door, because the cop that came in my front door went to my back door and let the cops in.
Man, me personally, I don't give a fuck what it's about. If you ain't got a search warrant, you're not coming in my house. You're not searching my house. I don't give a fuck what my kid did. He could have committed murder. If you don't have a search warrant, you're not coming back in my house. You're not coming to my house. Come back when you got a search warrant.
Yeah. I got cops all around my house. It's a Sunday morning. I live in a fairly white neighborhood. It's Sunday morning. Everybody's walking their dogs, taking care of their garden. And Aisha's got the police at her door. And they search my house. They don't find him because he's not there. He had his own apartment. And eventually they caught up with him. And at 19, my son was sentenced to 16 years for armed robbery and armed criminal action.
Wow.
And then his younger brother had been in prison. He's actually been in.
But that proves what I said was right. If your son at 19 is committed armed robbery, then by default, yeah, his father ain't shit, and his father ain't got nothing going on for himself financially either, because there's no way my father would have had me out here. I'm committing armed robbery at 19, knowing damn near you're just no more than 2 years removed from being out the house. That's if he left the house at 18. You know what I'm saying? These days, kids don't leave the house at 18. They're still there and well into their early to mid 20s. But if there's no way my father, if he's a man of value and has, shown me what it is to be a man and how to take care of a family, I'm gonna be out here robbing and stuff, because first I have to deal with him regardless if I'm old or not. And then second, if I am in a bind, especially if it's something very serious, life-threatening, my father's gonna loan me the money. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna have me out there committing no crimes that's gonna fuck my life up, where I got to go to prison, especially if it's something easy as a little bit of money is going to take care of. Like, there's no upstanding father who has the financial well-being that's not going to come to his son's or daughter's rescue if he can do it. So it proves my point right there. But let's get to the point of what I'm trying to prove here.
Been in prison twice. Tyree is my youngest son, and Tyree had been in prison the first time. I can't remember what his first offense was the first time he went, really. But I know that by the second time he went, it was murder. And Tyree didn't just kill anybody. Tyree killed his brother's best friend. So.
Mercy. Yeah, I can see the disturbing reality of realizing, and I can see it on her. Because it's one thing if you have one son, somebody may be able to sit there and within themselves rationalize and say, that's him. He decided to live that life. Yes, he can blame whoever he wants. But at the end of the day, that's one isolated incident. But to produce a second son who also ends up in prison shows that they're not just personal decisions there at play, but also environmental influences, parenting, lack of father, or in this instant, maybe lack of biological father. If she was a single mother, we're going to listen to more. Let's keep listening.
Brother that I just told you about that did the armed robbery, my youngest son killed that child's best friend. His name was Montez. Montez had spent the night at my house. I knew this little boy. I knew his mother.
That's crazy.
His mother was a single mother. She was a stripper. She was also a thief, and she had gotten caught stealing, and she was in prison when my son murdered hers.
This is just random. Back in my day, I used to hit the strip club a little bit. I wasn't, a strip club fanatic, but every now and then I would hit the strip clubs. I met strippers. I hung with some strippers in my time, and there's not one stripper that I ever met that didn't steal. All them bitches steal, dog. I'm gonna keep it a G with you. It seemed like every stripper is in that life. They steal. They will set you up. All that. I haven't met one stripper that wouldn't steal nothing from you. No matter how well they trying to get to know you. No matter how well they trying to act like they cool with you, their friend. They gonna if they get the opportunity, they gonna take it.
I have so much regret and a lot of shame because I know damn well that a lot of the influences I had in my children's lives led to where they were. My own son told me, the one that Tremaine is his name. Tremaine is in jail for the armed robbery offense. And he told me, Mom, I couldn't be no. That's the one thing that you used to talk so bad about, were dudes that you thought were big dudes.
God damn. Give me 1 second, bro.
Wow, that's coffee.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
She sounds like she's realized the role that she played directly, telling her sons never to be a ninja. And how do you define what that looks like?
And you talked about him so bad that that's the one thing I never wanted to be. But I never bothered to show him what true masculinity looked like. And so I think he learned violence because that's what he thought masculinity meant.
Right.
My husband was not a very strong man, and I kind of knew that. And let's be real, that's probably why he married me with 3 children that were not his. He was not very manly and very strong.
That's what I want to get into. Look, I don't think Suzette caught it because he went on and he didn't really comment on that. He just went on and got back with the story. Hold on, let's see. Before I get into it, let's see what he said.
All right, she's serving it up.
But
so he just look, man. I find shit that other dudes put out. I'm like, man, my nigga, do you understand how profound that is? What she just said, Shizu, you just gloss over that like it won't nothing. Man, let's run this back because we got to run this back. Let's run this back one more time because we got to hear it, bro. We got to hear it and then break this shit down.
My husband was not a very strong man, and I kind of knew that. And let's be real, that's probably why he married me with 3 children that were not his. He was not very manly and very strong.
This is men, all men. Yo, I know I get on ladies because this is a man's channel, but I'm an equal opportunist over here. And sometimes I give it to y'all fellas too. And the most, y'all know, y'all seen and heard my videos. The only thing I got a pet peeve about when it comes to men is 2 things. One is this. I don't understand, and I don't understand how could a man want and willingly wants to be a stepdaddy, especially if you got your shit all the way together. My dog, it makes no sense. You got a woman telling you this. And if she feels like this, best believe that every single mother knows this, dog. They know this. If you are a man willing to take on her and her kids that she gave to another man, especially if you don't have kids, nigga, you ain't shit. Because what's the purpose? Why would you be willing to do that? You mean to tell me that you are that hard pressed for a bitch, for some living pussy, that you are willingly to deal with her kids on an everyday basis just to have access to her? My nigga, I ain't never met a bitch that fine, dog. Like, dog, I ain't never been a bitch that fine that you're this bad, you're this great, you're bringing this much value to me that I'm willing to also take on your kids that you gave the highest honor to another man just to deal with you. What? And the reason why I keep harping on that, because what does that say about you as a man, bro? What does that say about your value, dog? Why you can't get a childless woman? Like, I never understood that. Of course, yes, I fucked many single mothers back in my past. I've never gotten into a relationship with one of them. Never. I mean, I did, but her kids were grown. And this is like recently. This is like within the past 5 years. You know, I'm over 40, I'm 45. But other than that, I never got into a relationship with a chick who had little kids under 18. Never. It's never even been a thought, my nigga. And I met some chicks who were still fine as fuck with kids, but it was just, as soon as you got kids, it was just like a turnoff. It was like an immediate write-off. It's like, all right, well, let me see if I can still hit if I haven't already hit yet. But relationship, man, bro, this is pure evidence, bro. And I'm telling y'all, if she's saying this, if she's just a basic average looking chick, you best believe that every last woman, don't make no mistake. It ain't no one-off. Every woman knows this. It's intuitive. Like, cause why are you as a man wanting to take, like, you can't get no other women? Like, I mean, trust me, I know it's bad out here these days. I mean, I know a lot of these chicks got kids, but shit, it should be a fucking playground for us, man. They the ones that's mainly fucking. They the ones they still, by the end of the day, if they can't get a nigga to commit to them, they still gonna need some dick. You want to be the nigga that they call up to get some dick. Well, I don't. No, this chick said in her own mouth, shit, she knew it. She knew he was a weak man because I was a single mother with kids and he was willing to take on me and my kids. God damn, if this wasn't some of the most profound shit that I've come across on YouTube in a while, fellas, man, don't. Plus, I don't. What do y'all niggas be thinking? It's no benefit to be a stepfather, dog. What are you gonna get out of that? Like, how are you winning in that situation? I mean, look, I guess, bro. I guess if you one of them dudes who's never really all throughout your whole entire life, never really got the chick, or it's always been hard for you to get a chick and keep a chick. I guess, man. I'm just keeping it 100. If you that dude and you just once and you gotta, she's really willing to deal with you for whatever reason, and you can keep her to have some in-house pussy, then I guess, bro. But is it worth it? Like, just have a chick with kids, and then your whole life has changed. Because again, like I said, most of these chicks, they're always talking from a position where you got to move in with them, because they ain't never really had no niggas who's had that shit all the way together, because they can't deal with those type of dudes. Them dudes got standards. We got standards, bro. We're not dealing with that. So, but if you're a woman who's got to move into a man's house with your kids, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like your whole life has changed. Why would you be wanting to do that? That's why you hardly ever see that type of dynamic. It's always a dude moving into her house with her kids. You barely see the dynamic of a man moving a woman into his house with her kids, because it's like your life is being flipped upside down. You went from peace, quiet, and harmony to a house of destruction. You know, I ain't gonna say destruction, but God, we know how kids are, bro. Especially when you got 2 or more. It's like, man, good luck on keeping the house clean. But yeah, man, I ain't gonna keep this drawing out. But I just want to point out the fact that, man, look, make no mistake. Don't think that not all women think this, or is this just her view. Nigga, all women know this. Biologically, intuitively, they know this. Because think about it. And it's common sense. Like, I can't even believe we have to break. I can't even believe in the world today, we have to break this down of why you should, like, why are you doing this, bro? Every woman knows, like, you as a man, you really can't get a woman who don't have kids and start your own family. You really can't. You really that hard pressed. You really that fucked up. You really so low value that you can't get a woman out here when women outnumber men. You can't get one of them. You can't get a woman, who's childless and start a family with. What's wrong with you, dog? There's something wrong with you. Man, like, comment, subscribe. I'm out. Peace.